between sisters, it's not up for debate. It is between family. We had to come together as a movement, the melanin movement, because I think we have had enough. As melanated people, as Black people, it is atrocious. We can no longer keep chanting Black Lives Matter and yo, this is ridiculous. The police is doing this and the police is doing that. When you can't even have a dice game at a bowling alley and not get shot in the head? Takeoff should not have lost his life in the senseless way that he did. And we as a family, and we are all family in this Brady Bunch Square, are here today to discuss as a family and say that we're fed up. So first things first, we got Shanah Dawn. Next in, we got EVE. Next in, we got Kisha.
I can't even do my wave.
I know. Next in, we got Noey B. And last but not least, we got Chris, the Gen Z gentleman. Who wants to jump in this real quick?
Well, first of all, I had a mild headache all day. I was very appalled. To piggyback on what you just said, Chaya, I just kept saying a dice game someone lost their life over. But there's a lot of things that have been going through my mind, and I know we'll touch on all the subjects that surround this. But it's time for celebrities to understand that they cannot be around regular people. Remember back in the day when celebrities stayed in the hills in their mansions and they came out and they peeked out and they came back, they went back into their hole? That's how it's supposed to be. There's no reason why in hell celebrities who have millions and millions of dollars are in regular bowling alleys with people like us. You don't know these people that you're around. I don't care if you have 2 bodyguards, if you have 20 bodyguards. A bullet is a bullet. And celebrities who have millions of dollars should not be amongst people like you and I.
Well, I agree.
As a Gen Z correspondent, I'll save my comments for dead last.
Okay.
I think my opinion is probably going to be the most differing from everybody else.
Well, so since there's a big pause, I'll add to I'll add my thoughts. I'm getting tired. I will not say Black Lives Matter anymore. I will not wear a t-shirt that says Black Lives Matter until Black Lives Matter to all of us Black people. And I know it's just a handful of people who are doing these insane acts, but we're killing ourselves, I think, even on a higher scale than anyone else. So we as a people cannot tolerate from ourselves, as well as not tolerating it from other cultures killing us. So we need to, and the problem is, other cultures today, I guarantee you millions of people who are not Black said to themselves, see, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. You wear these Black Lives Matter shirts, you parade around and talk about this, that, and the third, but you're killing yourselves. That's what they're saying about us. A dice game, it's uncalled for. And another thing, it's time for people like Jay-Z and Diddy, Beyonce, it's time for them to come off their thrones and come down and start changing the tone of rap. Rap has gotten to a point where there's so much evilness involved in rap, and I'm not trying to be a holy roller because I'm not, because I will tell you, I'm one of those people, I'll be in my car jamming to the music too, so I'm a hypocrite for it, but I will tell you, I don't buy the crap. I enjoy it, but there's a lot of hidden messages in this music, and it's people like Jay-Z. Jay-Z had so much control that he changed the game on auto-tune on one song, and T-Pain talked about it in a documentary. He said, after Jay-Z had did that song Dead to Auto-Tune, it changed his whole career because he was surviving off of auto-tune and he had to stop. So there's a way how these people with billions of dollars can change the tone of rap, can change the fabric of rap.
Even with drinking Cristal and wearing jerseys, Jay-Z changed.
Exactly. And I had mentioned to y'all earlier in the thread that, you know, so this video that Diddy has with 2-Bit from Power, I don't even know his real name. 2-Bit.
Michael Ferguson.
Now, okay, there was a misunderstanding. I get it. But why always gotta be us that have beef? Why us? Why we always, it could have, if it was 2 white dudes in the street, I'm pretty sure they'd have been like, oh, that's a nice costume, dude. Oh my God, you're rocking that Joker costume, so cool. And look at your entourage. But he was like, you's nothing but a pussy. Like, so what, we gotta stop. Everything's a beef to us. Everything's a problem. A dice game, like what was the problem that you had to pull your gun out and just start shooting at everyone? So I'll be back on my soapbox. Somebody else take the mic.
Offset has a song called Clout and that I run. And
that's a point for the Gen Zers, by the way. Thank
yes.
you.
See, we here. So we can blame the songs, but there was a song back in the day called She Swallowed It. It didn't make me go and start to, you know,
wow.
Wow. So, but I'm just saying, it's just that we could say it's the songs, but it's just like,
wasn't expecting that.
I got my own mind. And just because a song says something, it doesn't mean I'm gonna do it. I listen to Annie Up almost each day. It doesn't turn me into this gangster Brownsville chick. I just feel like between this clout chasing and people being extra sensitive, you know, because obviously it was an argument. Somebody didn't like what the other one said and just started to shoot in a crowd. So I don't know about, we can say it's the rap song, we could say it's the pandemic, we could say it's the police. No, it was some punk ass coward who wasn't able to fight this.
I would say, well, all day I had mixed feelings about this. Cause it's like the first thing, usually I don't even turn, like, you know, put my phone on. I usually read my Bible first or something, but I went to Instagram first today. And that's the first thing that popped up on my thing. And I was just like, I just put the phone down. I'm like, it's another day. You know what I'm saying? But then when you start to really, you know, sit back and you just start thinking about, he died at 28. I just turned 29. Like, thinking about it all day, I'm like, what if I didn't make it to 29? Like, he was 28. That hit, like, totally, that hit home. And it's just like more the fact that it's like, you can't even go out and enjoy yourself nowadays. You can't feel as if you have a normal life. They already are messed up mentally in the head with all the pressure and stuff of the industry and trying to reach a certain point in your career, dealing with the family, dealing with all these haters. And you just go out just to have a break for a moment, just to enjoy yourself, and you don't end up back home that night. And it's just like, it makes me realize every day that you really have to thank God when you make it home. Like, you could just be taken out so quickly. And for the fact that it's just like, unless we start, you know, how people, and it's crazy, you can't teach an old person new tricks or whatever that saying goes. It just makes us now, like, it just makes me more now, like, yo, my future kids, I gotta raise them better. Like, I gotta do the best as I can, not to put them in this mental state where they have to feel as if they have to defend themselves in a type of way that they feel like they have to prove themselves. They can't walk away for certain things. It's always about to get them. And it's just like, as a people, it's just like how much more you could take. You complain about it, it's another hashtag, but it's just like, what are you going to do? Like, what are you doing for the next generation? Like, we need more mentors out here. We need more men that are taking care of their mental health, that are going to therapy, that are doing the work. And it's so unfortunate. It's just like you got to take accountability for yourself. Like, just to see the video on here and Quavo like screaming, like,
and that's
you gonna post it.
Thing. Who
like, why are you posting that? Like,
he's got a family, and now that's online, and they have to see it over and over again. Again, it's clout chasing, because they wanted to be that name who was the first one who posted it.
Yeah, they just want to feel as if they accomplished something just by being there and not looking at the whole picture. Like, that's somebody's child right there. You're posting somebody screaming. How insensitive can you be? It's crazy. It's just like you become so numb to it, because that's what I saw it, and I just put my phone down. I was just like, oh, he passed away. And I'm just like, wait, hold on. Like, how many people are not going to make it to 30? We're dying off.
I was born in the 70s, and I'm looking at our progress as a people, and the only difference from living in the 70s until now is that our financial status has changed for some of us, not all of us, but some of us. And not to make it a debate about what you said about music, Shanah, but I agree that, like what you said about, you're not out there hoeing because of a song.
Because of a song.
But rap music has changed the fabric to a lot of things. So somebody has said over the weekend, statistically, I don't know if you guys are aware, and I think you heard someone mention over the weekend, that more Black men are ending up in nursing homes for the rest of their lives. Let me ask you guys, because we got smart people on these squares. Why do you think more Black people are ending up in the nursing homes? And they're dying in nursing homes?
Question.
Anybody give me an answer?
Because they don't have nobody to take care of them.
They not settling down with no bitch. They not wifing no bitch. Why they not wifing?
They don't have anyone to take care of them. They don't have a partner.
They don't believe in a family. They want to just, because it's, I ain't selling no bitch. Nobody bitch holding me down. And because rap music is, y'all, listen, there's a lot to this. So why is they said a high rate of Black men in nursing homes dying, and they were like, it was so bad. They was like, we got to figure out it must be something in the water. Then when they really looked at it, Black men are not marrying women. They're not settling with a family. They might have a bunch of kids out there, but they're not gonna settle with one woman and wife her and have a family with her. So something's the fabric of the Black community is different from when I was born in the 70s. And besides drugs, yes, drugs came in the game in the 80s, but a lot more happened after that.
I think my age group, because I'm seeing a lot of and I have a lot of Black friends. I'm seeing a lot of men actually taking the step and getting married nowadays.
That's good. So maybe you guys, maybe your group is changing, because you got to keep in mind.
I honestly think so. A lot of Black, and I think also
your group is not the group that's going to the nursing homes. Think of it, the age.
Yeah, that's true.
So
I feel as if we're getting to a level where more and more people are taking their mental health seriously. I do think it's getting better, but it's not where it should be.
Nah.
I wouldn't say that I get numb to it. I mean, I guess there's a level of that. You do get used to seeing it. But I saw it this morning, and usually I don't pick my phone up first thing in the morning, unless I'm turning off the alarm. But I got up, I prayed, I grabbed my phone, and that is like, and usually I'll go to not Instagram, I'll go to like YouTube, and I'll just check like highlights from the night before that I didn't see. Today I hit Instagram, and that was literally what popped up. Now I was just like, damn. I'm not the biggest Migos fan, or I'm not a Migos fan at all, but you know what I'm saying? I know who they are. So seeing it, I was just like, damn, that's kind of crazy. And he was on Drink Champs last week.
I know.
And the crazy thing, similar to the DMX situation, he was on Drink Champs and Noey was giving him his props, like, yo, man, you did your thing on the album. He was just like, yeah, son, you know, it's my time or whatever. I want to get my flowers while I'm here and not when I'm gone. That drink was 9 days ago. So seeing it, I was just like, damn, I was like, that's crazy. But I think there's a bigger issue. I think there's a political issue, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like, it's Texas. Everybody has a gun legally. So it's almost like you're going to put people in a position to some degree to where it's like, I have to shoot this dude before he shoots me if there's an altercation, because it's Texas. And I mean, that's just how they move out there. The first thing, I remember being in central Pennsylvania and I knocked on this dude's door, my next door neighbor. And it was just like, I'm knocking. So it's one big house that's split into two, but the Wi-Fi that essentially is for everybody in the house was on his side. I knocked the door. I'm like, yo, knocking, like, yo, that joint is out. I'm trying to get some work done or whatever. This nigga opened the door, was just like, yo, bro, why you knocking like that? I was about to shoot you. And I was just like, what? He's like, what are you talking about?
Because I knocked on the door?
So it's just like, nigga, you know me. Like, what are you talking about? So, and then, but again, it's in a state where people, like hunting season and all this other stuff, like these are days that schools are closed. You know what I'm saying? So little kids can go shoot guns. So, I mean, I think there's that level of it in Texas. And then as far as Black people, I'm not going to go as far as to say that, you know, I'm not going to say Black Lives Matter, because I believe the actual line, Black Lives Matter, matters. Like that line, you know, has meaning to it more so than just when white people are killing Black people. And I couldn't say something like that because it's like having friends who, you know, are in, you know, positions of service in the government that are trying to do things for Black people, you know, relatives who are trying to do things for Black people are like knowing people who are trying to make change, and then seeing, you know, other like my son and Tamika Mallory and all this other stuff, like who are actually out there trying to do stuff. See Jay Morrison, like even here in the Bronx, going around to whatever street corner he's on the corners teaching people, you know, real estate and how to get them out the hood and all this other stuff. So there's people out there doing stuff, but so I can't say that. But at the same time, it's like, I don't subscribe to the whole Black on Black crime thing. And I think Ta-Nehisi Coates said it best in his book, Between the World and Me, where he was just like, to scream Black on Black crime is like shooting a man and then yelling at him for bleeding. Because it's just like, yo, when you kill, like 9 times out of 10, people, when they get killed, it's a proximity thing. You're not, niggas ain't traveling, well, Kenosha and Charlotte and all this. So some people will travel to kill. For the most part, people aren't traveling miles and miles and miles to go kill people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you're killing the people that are close to you. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, I think the narrative that's out there that's taken hundreds of years to shape is also, you know, the foundation of why people go, see, there's another one. And then there's also the social media effect where Black people have this thing where it's like, I gotta be first, I gotta have it, you know what I'm saying? I gotta be the freshest, I gotta be the illest, I gotta, you know what I'm saying? I've gotta be the one in the spotlight. So before you help somebody, you pull your phone out and then you're streaming it live on Facebook or Instagram or whatever the case may be, or you're posting the video first, but that's the social media effect. You know what I'm saying? Do white people do the same thing? Absolutely, but there's no stigma behind them when they do it, because nobody ever says white on white crime. So when you scream Black on Black crime, yeah, you're highlighting something, you know, that should be highlighted, but it's also putting it in its own light. Like, see, that has its own category. We don't do that. But yeah, Ted Bundy wasn't going around grabbing Black chicks. He was killing white people around him. You know what I'm saying? John Wayne Gacy was doing the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Dahmer. It's not like these niggas was traveling miles and miles to go get people. They're killing people within their proximity.
I think so, not to cut you off, but I think the problem is, like, somebody had made the list of all the rappers that died in the last 2-3 years from guns, and is like, do you see any pop stars who are millionaires? Like, these are the people, you don't see them getting killed in that same manner. Like, Young Dolph was in a fucking cookie store. and got shot up in the cookie store. Like, you don't see Justin Bieber in the damn cookie store, or, you know, whoever it is in the cookie store getting their ass shot.
You're absolutely right. And I think you said it earlier.
And not to cut you off, but how do you feel about celebrities like Nipsey Hussle being in communities? You're a millionaire. Why are you in the community? I'm sorry, I know you want to help your people, but y'all got to
give back. He was
giving back, but they can't do that anymore. I hope that they learn from this lesson. Y'all cannot be amongst us. There's no reason why people are coming around us right here on the squares and they got millions of dollars. They should not be. They don't know us. They don't know if I'm packing it, if I'm a hater.
No, you're right. But I also think, like with Nip, I don't want to say this, but it applies to more than just him. For regular Black people like us, you're a regular, just everyday Black person. As you do better, just using my family as an example, like my parents came from Jamaica, they came to America, they got a small apartment, got a little bit bigger of apartment, got a small house, got a little bit bigger of a house, and then was able to do more, and they gradually moved up and all this other stuff. And you leave the other things behind. With rappers and to some degree athletes, there's the whole like, yo, you gonna be the one to make it. And then it's almost like there's guilt, like I have to go back. You know what I'm saying? I gotta stay connected to the people, but it's just like, well, can you effectively stay connected to the people? Because like with Nip, yeah, you built all this stuff in the neighborhood, but at the same time, you're still affiliated. So do you actually belong in the neighborhood? Like, can't you hire people, you know what I'm saying, within your own company that's gonna go handle that for you? You know what I'm saying? Because as much as, I ain't never heard Jay-Z or anybody talking about, yo, I was in Bed-Stuy last week. Doing what? Unless you was out here buying blocks, there's no reason for you to be here. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of just like, I don't get mad when people who move out of a neighborhood don't come back. Nigga, that's the whole purpose of you moving.
Because when I do go back, I'll be there like this. Woo, child. Woo, I used to live in this. Oh Lord, let's go back home because I can't do this.
No, but you moved to get into a better situation. So why am I coming back here every day? Or why am I gonna? You have to be able to see within your team, like, all right, I'm bringing these 10 guys with me because they are about what I'm about. Then the other 10 hanger-ons, you got to be able to know, like, nah, so like, y'all can't come or whatever. And that's fine, because I ain't coming back. So y'all gonna stay here and they gonna come with me and we gonna make these moves. It's just, everybody doesn't do that, especially if you stay, not necessarily gang affiliated, but just in the street. Like, you can't walk around with 15 chains, 6 rings, mad diamonds in your watch.
And then post like, hey, like I'm over here.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So not saying that means that you should get got, but people are jealous, man. People want what you have and are more inclined to not have to work for it. So it's just like, yo, I could just go kill this dude, get his chain and his watch, pawn it, sell it, do whatever.
I come up with just hating, like that. Somebody is a hater. Like they said when Pop Smoke got killed, those dudes didn't take anything. They just went in there, killed him, and came right back out. So that was just like they were hating.
It's why doesn't this happen to athletes? Basketball, football, soccer, baseball. It doesn't happen to pop stars. Like white stars die from drugs, black stars die from guns for the most part. You know what I'm saying? And the rap has changed in that when, like, I think back to my favorite rap album, which is Illmatic. There is no real like promotion of gang violence. It's a story of where I come from, where I'm trying to go, and what I see in my neighborhood and why it is the way it is. And gradually we want to do better. Just like Jay-Z, the first album, Reasonable Doubt, is very different from 444. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like there's a level of growth that I don't know what people don't see. But Lyor Cohen gets on the radio and makes the statement, well, I promote violence because it's what sells and I got a family to feed.
He said he got a family to feed.
It's kind of, you look at it like, all right, so that makes sense to promote murder, violence, and hate because it's profitable to you. And I know a lot of people will say, well, the rappers have a choice and this and that. Well, if I want to rap and you're literally telling me you control what gets put out. You know what I'm saying? So if I spit a song that's just like, power to the people, you're gonna look at me like, bro, I need something for the radio, or I need this, or I need that. Like, that ain't gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, rap about shooting somebody.
If I come out with self-destruction, you had for self-destruction.
I'm talking about that song today.
Funky fresh dress to impress, ready to party. They be like, where you going with that?
Yeah. We can't feed our kids with that one.
Really?
And that's why I said people like Jay-Z and Diddy need to come from the mountains and come down and say, you know what? We need to change this. We need to change this. I told y'all the story. I don't know if we were on a show with Noey and Chris, but the video went viral. It was wanted to do some Bone Thugs and Harmony. It was a video that he was telling how his friend went to a meeting years ago. And in this meeting, it was these executives that said they just built new jails. You seen it, right?
Yeah, you sent it to me.
Yeah, they just built new jails, and they need to get these jails filled. So I'm gonna hop on your lap, Shanah. They had to get these jails filled, and they said to these big record executives, "We need you to start rapping about guns, sex, and violence." And it was a very private meeting. I will send y'all the video. And his friend got kicked out the meeting because he was like, what the fuck is you talking about? Him and like two other people. And they literally got dragged. Like goons came and dragged him out the meeting. He said years later, his friend was like, yo, this shit worked. This shit worked. They infiltrated people's minds. Because back then they was doing self-destruction and we was listening to positive rap, Kwame and all them other. This meeting happened after that group came out and was giving us positive. That was a backpack crew. And these people had just built.
And here come NWA.
And they was like, we need violence, we need sex. I'm gonna find that video and resend it to all of y'all because it was so deep when he was talking about it on a radio station. And he said his friend looked back years later and was like, yo, their plan worked. It worked.
Yeah, I mean, they're masterminds at that because they've been conditioning people for years.
And people my thing is people like Jay-Z can help. He's only one person. But he could light that match, get that spark. Because what we're gonna live. So you're telling me that when I'm in my 90s in a rocking chair, in a wheelchair, in a nursing home, I'm gonna be hearing WAP, a different version of WAP? That shit they gonna still be talking about sex and pussy 20 years from now, 30 years from now. We still gonna be listening to the same shit?
I just want to put it out there that I don't listen to that kind of music.
Everybody, the nigga that shot Takeoff listen to that shit, I guarantee you.
No, it's a super unfortunate situation. I just think it highlights. I feel like a situation like this and what we've seen, and there's a reason why it's happening over and over and over and over again, and more frequently. Not even like once every couple of years. This is like multiple times a year.
You're like, oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? So for me, there's historical value behind the conditioning, which then leads to the mindset of Black people amongst one another. And I know a lot of people don't necessarily want to hear that, but it matters. Because if you start people off in a certain way, progress is only going to go but so fast. Especially when I'll put it to you this way. If they said, yo, we're going to give Black people $20 billion in reparations, I guarantee you things change.
What'd you say, guarantee what?
Guarantee you things will change in the community.
No, if they say they're going to give Black people $20 billion in reparations, Louis, Gucci, Prada, Fendi, Cadillac,
you're right.
Benz,
You're absolutely right.
Rolls Royce is going to be.
No, that'll probably be happening
and they'll still live in the same project. We'll hold that shit on them.
I'm trying to see the glass half full. I would hope there would be some kind of like, yo, yeah, we gonna get some nice stuff and move up out of here. Because there's no point in complaining about where you are It's like you can't complain about being in the hood, but then piss in the elevator.
Message.
I say this all the time when people be like, oh, these people don't never come back and do renovations for the projects and stuff. It's like, why would I invest my money when I know you're gonna pee in the hallway? When I know you're gonna
there's a greater wait, Chris, you go ahead, and I got something I wanted to share. You go ahead.
So first and foremost, as y'all were talking, I was writing stuff down.
I saw you with your pen.
No, mainly because this is
studious.
a topic. This is a topic that you can't really repeat the same things over and over again. There's only but so times you can do that before you become numb. You know what I'm saying? And it's different for you guys because you don't know these rappers. It's one thing to feel the effects of, a rapper getting shot, but for my generation, the rappers that have died, Pop Smoke, P&B, X,
Dolph,
Juice WRLD, Mac Miller, you know what I'm saying? Like Nipsey Hussle. We're listening to these guys. Like we're connected to these artists. And to see these artists die one after the other, it becomes, you know what I'm saying? It's normalized almost. That's like for your generation, Jadakiss or Styles P getting popped, BDC was getting popped. You know what I'm saying? Like that stuff wasn't happening as frequent and as publicized as it is for us. So we're dealing with a whole different degree of just psychological, you know what I'm saying? Just the psychological facets that are affecting us. But honestly, there's different elements that play a part into it. Social media being one of them, and this behavior of instinctual posting. And it's one thing to apologize afterwards because now you feel the effects of it. But before people post stuff, they're not thinking about how this affects the family or how this affects, just the people that are watching it in general. Because at this point in society that we're at, attention is such a potent currency and such an effective currency that it's almost as valuable as money. So much so that people will forego morality to post for likes. And that's across the board. That doesn't matter what generation you're in, because we've seen grown people do this. You know what I'm saying? So this is a much deeper psychological issue in that regard. But in terms of, now let's shift the conversation to hip hop and the cultural effect, right? So when it comes to, and Auntie Kisha and Noey, we're talking about going back to the hood and why these dudes go back to the hood. I feel like a lot of that is due to survivor's remorse, because these artists and these rappers, they come from trauma. Hip hop is predicated on overcoming circumstances, coming from poverty, and that's really all these lyrics are talking about. Like, I came from nothing, now I got the bag. You know what I'm saying? I got girls on my arm, I got the jewelry. Hip hop is highly predicated on ego. And so when you have these situations that are centered around ego, that's only going to make situations worse. And honestly, when it comes to the whole ego thing, we're the only genre that really profits on the amplification of ego in terms of wearing big jewelry or having 50 million girls or whatever the case may be. No other genre does that. And when it comes to, I'm sure there's white on white crime, obviously, or white people shooting other white people, but it doesn't get publicized as much because it's not as entertaining. The blinged out rapper getting shot that, was making these hit records sounds a lot more alluring than Bob shooting Dylan. So with these white companies and these white labels, they're profiting off of our trauma. So if these things continue to happen, that's the only thing that's going to get publicized. And now it's becoming a trend almost. Like I'm saying, it's being normalized to this point.
That's what I said. Like,
so it's like saying, Black lives, it's really not so much a black thing as it is a cultural thing to this point, because black race is obviously involved, but there's so many other things that we're dealing with race that when it comes to just music, because these are rappers and entertainers that are dying, and the way in which they're dying is almost very similar to each other in the same way, in the same fashion. They're at a party or they're at an event, shots ring off. When in history of hip hop has this ever happened in such a tight frequency of each other?
The biggest in our era was Pac and Big. And then after that, it was just like a moratorium. It was just like, we ain't gonna do this no more. And you really didn't hear about it like that, for a minute.
Right.
social media. Because if I post on social media how hard I am, I got all the jewels and I'm this, social media creates a life within a life. And then when people see you in public, you have to defend that fake life that you were broadcasting. So now when somebody tests you, it's like, yo, I can't afford to go down. So I can't fight. I can't do anything. So I gotta shoot this nigga because I was posting crazy online, and it is just different. But when white people go out and white celebrities go out, the security. This is why from day one, I've always felt I'm like, yo, people need to start moving how Floyd Mayweather moves. That nigga be moving in a crowd of like the biggest human beings on planet Earth.
Yes, you can't
in the middle, like in a circle.
Encased.
You can't even touch him. Like
he's not rolling dice in a damn bowling alley.
You know what I'm saying? Like niggas been getting shot over dice since the 80s. At some point, folks just got to realize when that much money's on the line or whatever,
dice and dominoes,
it ain't gonna end well. It's not gonna end well. You know what I'm saying? Especially with hot-headed people in this day and age who feel like they have a social media persona to protect and defend.
You know what, Noey? Also, too, I was saying to my friend earlier, another thing that social media did was it made regular people be in competition with likes with celebrities. So there's celebrities that are in competition with old girl down the street. This bitch got more followers than you. You made records. And she got a whole sea of people liking her because of the damn lace fronts that she be gluing on her head every week and the damn earrings or whatever she's wearing. So they have to compete with people like us. So that's why they come out of their mansions. They come in the neighborhoods. I don't know.
Well, let me say this. Shakur Stevenson was also in attendance at the bowling alley.
He was standing next to Quavo. I'm sorry, he was standing next to Takeoff.
Yeah, who was standing next to Takeoff, who is a featherweight boxing champion, who is also a millionaire. So you have money in the building, you know, and Takeoff was actually in the back. I don't know if everybody...
Minding his business.
Yeah, he was minding his business. And if you are watching this video and you have not seen the video of what transpired during the altercation with Quavo and whoever he was talking to, because it was obviously a whole bunch of people. So Quavo was actually in an argument with someone and Takeoff was in the back, minding his business. So Takeoff was shot, and then another 23-year-old was shot. A 23-year-old male and a 24-year-old woman was shot. They were not killed, but they were injured. Takeoff was shot in the head. And like you saw other rappers come on, Designer, he was broke up.
He was broken.
Yes. I've seen that.
Boosie. One thing that Boosie said that it really hit is just like rappers are a target, and it seems like everybody said that it's just like killing a rapper now is your claim to fame.
It's the clout chasing.
Killing a rapper is like getting a trophy, or if you go to jail for killing a rapper, you could walk into jail with your Diddy bop, like, yeah, I killed so and so, but now you get money on your books from I don't know what gang. I don't know what gang is the gang that supports rap killers. I don't know, but for whatever reason, this is something that people do as a way of, yo, I just murked whomever. Now, my husband always talks about I'll never let it rest, and I'm always going racial, but it is racial, okay? The mere fact that we are conditioned as Black people, and we do not understand just how the world and America itself has conditioned our mind from young to think, and we grow up with brokenness every single day, and we're always on defense. And Chris and I have all read this book, post-traumatic stress, post-traumatic slave syndrome. So we're always on defense every single day of our lives without even knowing it. We're not used to touch. We're not used to positive reinforcements. We're not used to, like, if somebody looks at us, like somebody could just be looking at us like, oh, that's a nice sweater. But what are you looking at? We're automatically on defense everywhere we go, because that's just something that we're used to. And we would rather die or go to jail based on a disrespect instead of walking away from a situation because you feel disrespected. Nah, I'm not going to let her disrespect me. So because you feel disrespected, you'll either kill your brother, kill your sister. You'll either make a decision that's going to take away somebody's life or take away your life for the next 30 years. A split decision that lasts for seconds is going to now change your life forever and your family's life forever. And nobody thinks about that. And does it happen in Asian communities, Spanish communities, white communities, Italian communities? Yes, it does. But the media don't publicize that. They publicize us because we are the monkeys that they like to put on the show. We are the ones that they put in the circus. We are the ones that they put in the circus. And they constantly put us on display so that everybody can see us make monkeys out of ourselves, and we keep on perpetuating the narrative for the powers that be. And whoever it was that killed Takeoff,
they better hope the cops find him before the streets find him.
I'm trying to figure out how he got away. You got all of them people filming.
Yeah, like how could nobody
had their camera phones out.
A lot of people believe it's gonna be snitching. They trying to live by the code.
Post the video online ain't snitching.
Right. It's
psychological, man.
Okay, but that's the thing about this whole
that's some like
snitching thing.
Deeply psychological.
There's this whole snitching thing. There's a difference in if somebody comes in and shoots a child and you know them who it is. That's not snitching. A person killed a child. So
like this code of the streets mess. Listen,
this new code of
who was it that I was watching? Oh, I think it was Boosie's interview on Drink Champs when he was talking about they came to the person's funeral and shot the person's mother at the gravesite. What? In Chicago. Like the code is done.
He was visiting her son.
No, it was the grave. She was at the gravesite burying her son. And they shot the mother and killed the mother. Where they do that at?
Everybody loves.
That's another part of hell. That's a special part of hell. For that.
Everybody loves the gangsters and the mobster.
Yeah, that's not normal. That's different.
There was the respect level. You never mess with another man's wife. You never mess with another man's family. Those things were off limits. But I feel like
now there's no rules.
They don't respect themselves. So then how are we supposed to expect them to respect others?
Back in the day, there was no technology. Like nobody was gonna be out there with a recording camera on their shoulder with the light in their hand, like, you know what I'm saying? Like you couldn't do that. But now it's kind of like you could just be on some like recording and just, looking off like whatever. But as Chris said, it's that, that social media effect and just that, insatiable appetite to want to be first. And it's kind of just like, or to want to post, I should say. It's just these record labels are gonna go after young kids, and it makes perfect sense. I'm gonna get to you before you develop. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, ain't nobody getting a record deal at 30.
But the difference with a lot of today's rappers, and because of where we're at in society and social media, everybody and their mom wants to be a rapper. The difference with today's rappers is a lot of them don't want to be rappers, if that makes sense. Like the Busta Rhymeses of the world that grew up and, you know what I'm saying, like the Most Defs that was in the park, you know what I'm saying? A lot of these rappers now start out as, you know, being in a gang or hustling or whatever, and then on the off chance that they freestyle in the car, their man is like, yo, you could do this or whatever. Like Lil Baby, he wasn't a rapper.
Like, you should
He was
post
not.
that.
Young Thug literally took him off the streets and paid him to rap.
Paid who?
Lil Baby, so he didn't have to stay in the streets.
Wow.
But that's what I'm saying. They're selecting people within trauma to then make music. Even if it's garbage, they're making bread. They're still going back to the hood and doing whatever, but the mentality is still trauma.
You still are. You still come from brokenness. You still come from a lifestyle, or as my son said, a death style. Right. You come from a death style that's all you know is scrapping and survive. All you know is that, and you don't know how to break the chain and live in a way that is an actual normal life. You know what I'm saying? Like even when we were talking about something up for debate a few episodes ago, and somebody had commented on one of the videos and was like, "Why is this so what they call me? Why is this so hostile?" What she said?
Aggressive.
Yeah. Why is this so aggressive? Talk about me, because why is this so aggressive? And I'm just like, it's not aggressive. It's Brooklyn. But then because I'm just very expressive. But even in my expression, I do agree that I can be a little aggressive in my mannerisms.
You aggressive?
Well, you know, to piggyback on what you're saying, it's funny that when you started out, Chaya, I was like, wow, because I saw a lot of myself in those descriptions of what you were saying about the hostel, because I came from the hood. I live in the suburbs now. I make decent money.
Yes, but we came from the hood. We were raised in the hood.
And the issue that I have, and everybody knows this about me, is that when it comes to my kids, don't fuck with my kids. So then Brooklyn comes out of me.
He said the other day, he was just like, I just want to see Keish. He was like, I know Keisha's like the sweetest heart ever. He was like, but I just want to see somebody cross her because I know she could get gangster. I was like, yes, she can.
You fuck with me.
But look, for entertainment. This is what I'm saying. No other culture gets like that.
Yeah.
That's why we're so publicized when we get angry when we do stuff.
I'm gonna tell you something, and so me, Shanah, Chaya, Noey, I don't know about you, but when I went to school in Brooklyn, like you had to come to school with this hard exterior because you didn't nobody think that you could get over on me, because every kid in school, somebody tried you. And you got punked at least one time, and you went home and was like, never again. And then your parents told you, if I find out they punking you, I'm beating your ass. So then you had to come to school every day like, bitch, don't fuck with me. And then you might have been a sweetheart on the inside, but you had to put on this. Literally, you went out in the street and put on this armor like you was a transformer. And so we got that embedded in us.
A good example that we can look at is you, me, and I, right? So you got the full effect of the hood. I got the hood and an all-white neighborhood. He just knows the suburbs. So you see the difference in mentality for those three generations, right? Now look at when we moved. Your mindset, even if you saw a little animal, was still, I don't want to roaches because I'm thinking about PTSD from living in the projects. No, but seriously, we're in the absolute suburbs. Right. Probably one of the best neighborhoods. We still we gotta lock every door, whatever.
Yeah.
I go to
You leave a cupcake out. I'm like, you want roaches in here? You better
exactly. Versus if you go
Like,
next door, they'll leave their door open for 5 hours.
Right.
They'll leave their door unlocked for the whole night. You know what I'm saying? Because their mentality is different. Me, like going to an all-white high school versus, being in the hood. Like I experienced the duality of both. So now when I come here and I see deer in the backyard, I'm not, whatever. You see Nana, she's like, oh, we can't have deer in the, you know what I'm saying? In our house.
Nana whole ass. Nana had a bum leg. Do you remember she had a bum knee? Nana saw them deer the first day. She hauled ass.
No, I ain't never see her limp that fast.
Not talk about
my mother.
Don't talk about my mama like that.
But you're right.
I can
like up for himself.
It's funny because the Brooklyn in me, when my child had told me what a teacher said, she told me at 8 a.m. in the morning, and by 8:05, I went there, teeth was not brushed, face was not washed, and I was in that bitch's face that morning in the hallway, like, what you said to my child. Now, mind you, this is in a suburban school, and the white principal was running towards me like, what's going on? Because they ain't used to that Brooklyn shit in their damn school. Meanwhile, somebody who was of suburban origin was born in the suburbs would have called the principal that morning and said, I need to have a meeting with Mrs. Smith because she had said something to my child that offended her. But I brought Brooklyn here. I was like, what you say to my child? So you really like.
You have to reprogram. It takes reprogramming.
Yeah, like we are like, you are not messing with me. Where my brother at? You
Reprogramming.
Even how the teachers teach the students is different.
It is.
All of my teachers from elementary school to middle school were West Indian women. All of them. Every single one of them. And they taught with a certain strictness and a certain level of, even if you ain't doing the best thing academically, you need to act right. Over here, they don't care.
Well, that's not nice.
They don't care.
Your words.
They don't care. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Would you want to go to the counselor and speak to them about this matter?
White teachers ain't pursing their lips. Like, they ain't doing that.
Yeah.
They ain't doing that.
You're right.
They ain't doing that. It's a total different dynamic between people living within like your radius versus even in a different area.
That goes into the bigger picture of the government and how they literally have strategically redlined us into these neighborhoods and given us the crumbs from the master's table and said, okay, just you gonna eat with this, and whatever you can eat, that's what y'all gonna eat. But then everybody else is eating steak, shrimp, lobster, and filet mignon. But everybody over here, they just eating hominy grits, trying to scrap and survive in tenements. But everywhere else, y'all got houses with land and grass, and over here, they got just concrete jungles. And one tree, like every few feet. Like coming out here with all this grass, I didn't know how to act. I am from the concrete jungle. It is a difference. But even in me growing up in the hood, even in being in the projects until I was 17 years old, I never ever had, I want to shoot somebody, I want to kill somebody. Never. But I did have a little of a grit to me because I knew when niggas started shooting, you better sit on the floor because we lived on the first floor and they were shooting inside the window. I knew that much.
If I was a billionaire, like a lot of these celebrities who have millions of dollars, and I would, even if I was not a billionaire, if I was a millionaire with a bunch of millions of dollars, I would go back to the hood and try to really focus on these groups and try to, because the thing is the soil is damaged. We need to really get rid of the soil that's there and start from scratch, because we can't start from the top. The top is already, the whole thing is damaged. So we got to go to the foundation. And I think the foundation is Black women.
It's a hopeless culture. It's a hopeless way to live. Because most people who are in the hood, becoming a world famous rapper, athlete, basketball player, doctor, or whatever, and having mad money, it's a wonderful dream, but it's to them, it's not really attainable. It's not. Now, I don't know anybody who does that. Right. So why would I think that I can? So you're not really going to be inclined to move the way you should. You go to a school in the hood, it's like, we ain't got no books. You know, the books we have, the texts are all messed up. You know what I'm saying? You go to school in the suburbs, teachers is chilling. You know what I'm saying? The library's fresh. You know what I'm saying? Like,
got Starbucks.
Everybody has an iPad.
Yeah, like I remember when I was in high school.
My son, all of the kids in his class, everybody has their own from the school has their own Chromebook. They gave everybody their own Chromebook.
Oh yeah, well I didn't get that, but just simple things like school lunch, like seeing what kids get in the inner cities. I'm like, yo, I was ordering like Subway sandwiches and like people were making my food in front of me, like, yo, let me get the grilled chicken wrap with the honey mustard and the ranch, little lettuce, little tomatoes. You know what I'm saying? Well, no mayo.
Yeah, you was in the suburbs.
You know what I'm saying? So but that's the thing. It's just completely different. So for me, I'm looking around. I'm just like, yeah, I'll make it. Like I can see there's hope in the future. But a kid who's not exposed to that ain't gonna get that. And I can tell you how many teachers told me I wasn't gonna be shit when I grew up. Told my mom, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, that nigga ain't gonna make it nowhere.
Well, there was some racism there also as well, because you were one fly in a bunch of buttermilk.
Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? No, it's the truth. But like with what's happened in the rap community, like as you guys are talking about like where you came from to where you are now, I feel like the difference between y'all and the rap world is you had time to progress. You know what I'm saying? If I give one of these kids who really doesn't see a future for himself, and I'm just like, yo, look, I'm gonna give you an advance. I'm just give you $800,000. Go live life. I'll come back in a week. That nigga will be in the same place. He'll have mad jewelry, but no money left. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to help you do anything. I'm not going to set you up with anything. I'm not introducing you to any of my financial friends.
No financial acumen.
I'm just going to give you this money and go. Yeah. Yo, Floyd Mayweather said it best. He was like, yo, I talked to my billionaire friends, and I was just like, yo, I'm not. They would tell me like, yo, we'll do this and we'll do this. He was like, I don't want you to do it. Tell me how you did it.
Tell me how you did it. Right.
Like, put me on with your man. Show me what you know, whatever, so I can do it for myself and for my kids. I don't need you to do it for me. It's just like, but you ain't getting that in the hood.
I remember talking to this young lady, and she had came to my house one time. She was in her 20s, like late 20s, and she was on her third baby daddy, not married. And she was upset because her girlfriend sat her down. They had like a little intervention and was like, honey, you need to get your shit together. And she was like really pissed off that they would have the audacity to sit her down and tell her, yo, you like your slip is, would you say even your slip is showing? Slip is showing. And I really feel like if we all pull together and tell everyone around us their slip is showing, the world, the hood would be a better place. But if everybody is pulling each other down like that crab in the barrel mentality and looking at, and that's another thing too. Nobody wants to see anybody rise. And when if you rise, and I got to take that down. I got to snatch her from you because you think you're too cute.
Well, nobody taking that advice.
Just want to bring up a point at the school lunch. You can't expect to give the youth creamed corn, a round pepperoni pizza, an orange, and chocolate milk and say enjoy.
Well, I am going to close this segment with this.
Wait, because I just want to, I'm sorry, I just want to go back because we've spoken about jail. One, there's a difference between jail and prison. And to be honest, as someone who was a visitor on Rikers, a visitor in the feds, a visitor in the state, a lot of these people out here doing this stuff is not built for prison. Because what's going to happen is what you're going to do is go in there and meet Poppa, who's between 48 and 55, who's got 2 life sentences with nothing to lose, and then you'll find out what it is. So I just think
Poppa
this,
was a rolling stone.
like this whole thing about, yeah, I'm this, I'm that. You really don't know what prison is. When that gate slams, it's a whole different story. So I was
you gotta
really
bend over and cough. And you gotta bend over and cough, butt naked.
Look, I will sit there and go hard for Nuck If You Buck, and y'all all know this. But once I start watching 60 Days In, I'm like, oh, I can't do this. Ooh, why did food look like that? I'm not about this. Like, I'm like,
it's not what everybody thinks. They see, they hear these songs and they think it's
they romanticize prison until they get somebody that got a life sentence and ain't got nothing to lose.
Nothing.
And a hole is a hole.
I honestly never want to hear a hole is a hole come out of my mother's mouth again.
I'm just saying. But I want to close with this. Shanah,
this school lunch is ridiculous. Talk to your mayors of your cities to change the school lunch. Chocolate milk with pizza is not a good combination.
Shanah brought up prison, so I'm going to bring up the mortality of it. We spoke about this on another show, and it is from the book Medical Apartheid. And it is about how the United States benefits off of Black bodies after death, and how coroners basically give your bodies away for medical research for profit. So y'all just buck, and don't nobody know that you have to exempt yourself from your organs, your corneas, or just saying that you don't want yourself to be given away for medical research. But sometimes they don't even care.
Nope.
They will stuff your body with some tissue.
And we be standing over the casket. Ooh, they did a good job. Look how full he looks.
She looks like she's sleeping.
Listen,
look really good. They did their makeup real good. Not knowing the whole damn body is hollow.
Listen. All of these major cities, the coroner's office gives away, and Houston is a major city.
Mm-hmm.
These coroner's offices, and I implore you to read Medical Apartheid. These coroner's offices give away Black bodies and organs for either medical research, for for-profit companies, or organ donors. So before you pull a trigger, you ain't getting the money after the fact from the coroner's office. That's going to some other white company. But anyway.
Oh, and I want to add something on a spiritual level. I want to take it to, I don't want to get on a ghostly level with this, but I have to mention this because so many celebrities, especially rappers, are getting killed. I prayed for Takeoff's soul today. I had a specific prayer for his soul because I know right now he died at 2:30 this morning. He is in shock. That first few days when these souls leave this body, especially when they got killed like that, he's in shock right now. So I need everyone to pray for Takeoff because he is in agony mentally over wherever level, whatever dimension he is in. Amen.
Amen.